Welcome to the 2019 EFMP Virtual Summit. My name is Kimberly Schuler, and I am the Chief of Exceptional Family Member Program Assignment Policy at the Air Force's Personnel Center at Joint Base San Antonio Randolph. I have the distinct pleasure of being the component lead for EFMP assignments and work closely with the other medical and family support leads you just learned about from Ms. Diamond. We are glad you could join us, and we're thrilled to share with you all the initiatives we have been working on to enhance EFMP assignments for our airmen and families. Our goal is to provide you with all the information you need to make educated decisions pertaining to navigating future assignments, career development, and your family members with special needs. We will start with a brief overview of EFMP assignments. This session is going to include a quick program overview for those of you joining us today who are new to EFMP, or for those that serve in supervision or leadership roles. Let's jump right in with the program overview. The purpose of EFMP assignments is simple in theory. The Air Force promises to only assign airmen with a family member who has special needs to a location where medical and/or educational services are available. Of course, this does not apply to unaccompanied or dependent restricted tours, since the dependent or dependents will not be present. Military personnel flights are responsible for the update of Assignment Limitation Code Qs after verification from the local special needs coordinator that the family member concerned meets the minimum enrollment criteria. Alternately, to be removed from the program, the military personnel flight simply needs a memorandum from the local special needs coordinator to verify that the minimum eligibility criteria is no longer met. Let's move on to how EFMP assignments helps. Initial enrollment deferments, deferments for critical junctures in care, assignment cancellation or diversions, and more are provided to EFMP enrolled airmen. There is a myth out there that we at AFPC have a magic ball which tells us when a family member receives a service non-availability notice and that we automatically cancel a projected assignment. This is simply not the case, as we rely on airmen to initiate any assignment coordination through the Virtual Military Personnel Flight, or VMPF. In essence, this action by the airmen pulls us off the bench and we are able to assist airmen and families. How can you increase your odds of a service availability notice or positive travel recommendation when selected for an assignment? Start by knowing your date eligible to return from overseas, or DEROS. If overseas, whether or not you are on a maximum controlled tour, or if you are on the vulnerable to move listing, or VML, and what your assignment vulnerability looks like to better forecast when or if your assignment cycle is going to drop. One main area we have focused our marketing efforts on the past 2 years has been the education of self-advocacy through essentially getting a red light, green light of service availability by comparing a few key factors. Using locations, your Air Force Specialty Code or Air Force Specialty can be utilized, and bouncing the available locations up against the TRICARE online resources available. This results in a general idea of whether or not you may want to list a base on your dream sheet, Airman Development Plan, or Talent Marketplace preferences. If the TRICARE resources reflect no available services around an installation, or no local TRICARE support physicians are accepting new patients, it's a good indicator that services would be deemed as not available and a service non-availability notice might be issued. If you haven't tuned into any of our quarterly EFMP for Families Facebook Live events before, I highly recommend it, as we go a lot more in depth on this subject in that forum. The number one question received in EFMP assignments at the headquarters level is, why can't my EFMP enrollment be taken into consideration when selecting me for an assignment? Followed by, why can't I just get a list of bases my family member can be guaranteed services so I don't have to go through the hassle of being selected for an assignment, receive a service non-availability notice or disapproved dependent travel as some call it, and then have to request a change or cancellation? These are excellent questions and are at the center of innovation efforts and process changes. Let me explain how the process in place currently actually protects against discrimination, and it will help paint a picture of the challenge for leaders to find a solution that suits airmen and families without limiting career opportunities. The Q code we discussed on the previous slide is not considered during normal assignment selection unless you are applying specifically for an EFMP reassignment or deferment through our team here at AFPC. I'm a big fan of using examples, and I hope this one helps make the intent behind the process clearer. If you really want a special duty position that's been advertised on the Assignment Management System, or AMS, and you meet all the requirements, you hit the apply button and cross your fingers hoping to be selected as the most eligible volunteer. Now, fast forward to the ad closeout date. Your assignments team pulls the list of volunteers, racks and stacks them based on the PCS eligibility requirements and any other position prerequisites listed on the ad. Lo and behold, you are the number one volunteer. Currently, your assignment teams pays no attention to the Q code on your record. They're not allowed to. They have no idea if you're enrolled in EFMP for a child with mild asthma or a spouse who is in the middle of an organ transplant. As non-covered entities under HIPAA rules, they have no reason to know unless you tell them. Now, what if your assignments team looked at your SURF and made the decision that since you are enrolled in EFMP and the position and location you are about to be loaded an assignment to may not be able to provide the necessary medical or educational services your EFMP family requires, and they made an assumption about care availability? What if they decided to skip you and move on to the next airman with the same qualifications as you, but without a Q code? How well would that sit with you? Well, I imagine it wouldn't sit well, because that is potentially a form of discrimination based upon a family member with special needs or disabilities. At that point, your career opportunities have been affected, limited in fact, due to no fault of your own. No fault of your family members either, just a failure to protect every airman's right to make their own decisions about their career. I mentioned Facebook earlier, so let's get into how we use social media platforms to educate, provide transparency, and communicate with airmen and spouses. In December of 2017, EFMP Assignments received approval to launch an official Facebook page. People told us we were bonkers, and while this may be partially true, it has been a great tool for providing families updates on the program, hosting quarterly EFMP for Families live events, and extend the opportunity to families for direct communication with our team. And yes, you heard correctly, the Facebook page is for active duty airmen and spouses. We received a lot of feedback from spouses that the inability to communicate directly with the Air Force's Personnel Center was a major gap in our customer service, and we listened. A great deal of the messages we receive on our Facebook page is from spouses looking for information on the process of applying for an EFMP reassignment or deferment. It was evident that we could send out MyPERS messages all day long, but not every airman reads them or sends them home for their spouse to read. We use Facebook as a marketing tool to reach spouses, so if you haven't hit the like or follow button yet, I highly encourage you to do so. Our goal is to reach double the amount of families we have enrolled in the program following the page. With 32,000 airmen enrolled, this is, of course, a lofty goal, but an attainable one. If you have suggestions for posts you would like more information on, send us a message, and we'll get that information out to you and others who may be seeking the same information. We have a remarkable public affairs office here at AFPC, and they created a separate playlist for EFMP assignments on the AFPC Public Affairs YouTube channel. If you don't have Facebook and you still want to see the program's latest and greatest, then this is the option for you. You can access all Facebook Live events on our playlist once the event is complete. Isn't technology great? Let's see where we were in 2017 compared to now. What you see here are the takeaways from the 2017 EFMP Rapid Improvement event. Assignments had 3 main taskers that you, the families, told us were your highest priorities and are areas of concern. While we will always be looking for ways to increase our marketing and outreach efforts, and therefore will keep that specific tasker open, we are very happy to say that we have completed everything else from the 2017 Rapid Improvement event. The last row reflects the secondary Rapid Improvement event held in November of 2017 and touches on factors considered, the course of action when recommended, and which was concurred on by leadership. Posed were difficult issues. The main areas we were asked to hone in on by families attending were related to PCS priority for EFMP enrolled airmen and families, above all others without special needs, pre-screening, and exclusion from PCS consideration to specific locations. Due to the complexities of the assignment management system, family member travel screening process, and restrictions on discrimination and subsequent career progression and career development impact, it took 9 subject matter experts to conduct a deeper dive in November of 2017 to get into it and examine the feasibility of PCS priority to locations where services can be guaranteed, pre-screening for family members with special needs prior to PCS selection, and exclusion from PCS to locations previously not recommended for travel or family received a service non-availability notice. The course of action, or COA, approved maintains an equitable assignment selection free from discrimination for families with special needs, dependents, and families without. It increases transparency, promotes self-advocacy through educating airmen and families and leadership on available opportunities and avenues to pre-screen. The desires of airmen and families were met, as well as the intent of talent management efforts. Do you think we were satisfied there, though, and threw in the towel? Absolutely not. Let's look at initiatives you may have either been witness to already locally or are on the horizon. We couldn't be more excited that the new EFMP orientation course was officially launched for installation level execution on September 15th. Again, this initiative came from you, our EFMP families, and of course, we needed your direct impact to help us hit the mark. So, in 2018, at the EFMP Summit, families provided suggestions for ways to bolster our core competencies or main education points, and it was an amazing opportunity. Many of us who are on the EFMP assignments team are retired Air Force with EFMP family members, so we do have an in-depth knowledge of the program. However, you provided us with a pulse on the community, which was critical to ensure that we were on track to educate families who are new to the program. You helped us fill in the blanks about what was missing when you were enrolled, how to navigate assignments, medical and family support resources, what being enrolled really means and the effects, and where to go for help. These are just a few of the major areas families helped us refine, and we are eternally grateful for your inputs, candor, and shared excitement about enhancing the program for families who are new to the EFMP family. You have set up all those enrolled in the future from having to search online, get secondhand information, and provide a one-stop introduction to your local points of contact all through this initiative. So a huge thank you is in order to our families. The new EFMP orientation is mandatory for newly enrolled airmen, but don't think this orientation is just for new families, though. It's built to be informative for new families, yes, but it's also built for families who are already enrolled. Whether you have been enrolled for a month, a year, a decade, or longer, this course is built for you too. The orientation brings standardized curriculum to your installation level POCs, so the military personnel flight for the assignments component, special needs coordinators for the medical component, and the family support EFMP coordinator for the family support component. The Airmen and Family Readiness Centers will be hosting the events with the local points of contacts there in person to walk you through the course, answer questions, raise concerns, and network. We rely heavily on our installation component leads to be the faces of the program, and this orientation ensures accessibility and relationship building opportunities are made available to you. Be on the lookout for your installation's announcement of their inaugural course and make sure you sign up. We highly encourage supervisors and leaders to attend as well. You may not be an EFMP family, but odds are that you will lead airmen who are. Get to know your local stakeholders, and the next time one of your airmen and their family is having an issue, you'll know exactly who to contact. If you are geographically separated or just want to see what the course is about, guess what? We have you covered too. AFPCPA built a separate playlist on their YouTube channel specifically for the EFMP orientation. There you will find a pre-recorded version of the orientation to watch whenever you feel like it. Our next initiative is one that we have sought after for a while, and we are so pleased it is coming to fruition. We will be welcoming the EFMP medical component team to AFPC's campus in 2020, and we are beyond thrilled. What does this mean for EFMP families? For starters, the co-location of teams will provide increased opportunities for collaboration, updates to programs and processes and policies, and the potential for a major shift in the program's capabilities for customers. Folks, this is huge. You may be thinking, okay, great, they will all be sitting together now, so what? Well, while I can't give too much away about what we have up our sleeves, I can tell you, and many of you already know, EFMP is and will continue to be the focus of Congressional, Office of the Secretary of Defense, and Air Force leaders' attention, as it should be. This shift to co-location is the open door we have needed to be able to explore how we can enhance and further evolve the EFMP experience for airmen and families. I mentioned it before, but it bears repeating. Plug into our Facebook page as we begin this journey. It's one we are all on together. You won't want to miss the updates. We always recommend starting locally with your military personnel flight for installation-specific information on EFMP. If your inquiry goes beyond local, we encourage you to use any of the contact resources you see here for assistance. The bottom line is that we are here to help. It's not only our jobs, but it's our passion and quest to evolve to excellence in your, the family's eyes. Plug in, get connected locally and with us at AFPC through the Facebook page, and follow along with us. If you have any questions that were provided ahead of time that we weren't able to answer today, we will be contacting you directly to ensure you have the information you need. If you have a question that came up during the presentation, ask away in the chat area so we can answer you live. We look forward to continuing our partnership with you and thank you for your efforts to assist.